everybody. Okay, so I right now am out on my balcony. I thought it would be like a pretty ambiance, but there is like a main road right behind me. So sometimes people like to rev their engines at the lights, so hopefully they will be kind of quiet tonight. I won't be on here too long. I just wanted to do something different. This is my 5th novel, and normally I just like post the picture and that's that, but I thought it would be kind of cool to come on here and do a little live for a couple of reasons. One of them is to say thank you to all of you who over the past 7 years have just supported all of my writing. I published Tear Stained Beaches in 2013. It was literally a way to journal through a really tough time, and I decided to kind of turn all those feelings in the journal into a fictional story, and I'm still kind of shocked at how well it's done and how well it does 7 years later. And then after I had published that book, everyone was like, when are you gonna publish your next one? And I had never thought of kind of continuing on, but 5 books later, here I am. So it's an exciting day for me. Technically, this is the 3rd genre that I've written. Tear Stained Beaches is a woman's fiction novel. Then I have 3 contemporary romance, and this is the romantic comedy. So if you haven't seen the cover yet, I actually got it printed at Staples so that I could show you guys tonight. But so Falling in London is a romantic comedy. That's what we're going to chat a little bit about today. But officially, the cover is out everywhere, and this is it here. Hope you guys can see it. I started creating my own covers with the last book, which was Slow Dancing on Main Street. I think I went through about 20 different designs before I landed on this one. And I had a little focus group for about 6 covers that I had picked that were my top. And this was this one, and there was another one that kind of like tied. But I liked this one just because you kind of, there's still like a little bit of air and mystery to it. So that is why we went with this one here. And one of the cool things is, so my main character, she lives in a little flat in Notting Hill, and it has a pink door. So there's like a little pink door in there too. Oh, thanks, Samantha. So there's a little pink door in the background as well, and it's just kind of like, I like that there's like still kind of an air of mystery to it, but I think it gives off like the nice rom-com vibe. Did a lot of research on what romantic comedy covers look like, and I think it fits it really well, so I'm definitely excited for it. Thanks, Morgan. Thanks for joining in. I hope you're enjoying your books. And then one of the other things I wanted to do today, so I printed out a couple excerpts. With this being a romantic comedy, I started it in January, and then obviously the whole world is going through sort of a frustrating time right now, and I wanted to write something that was a little bit more lighthearted. So thanks, Susie, appreciate it. So I thought that a romantic comedy would be perfect, and it's actually inspired by the 10-day road trip that my fiance and I took back in October. We flew into London, and then we rented a car, and I did not drive because there was no way I was attempting to drive on the other side of the road. But he drove, and we went up to Cambridge, Nottingham, Liverpool. We went down to the coast of Wales, over to Bath, and then we drove back to London. So it was a nice 10-day road trip, and it was just like, it's kind of crazy. I've never really been out of the country until like the past few years, but just how different like architecture and all of that is over in the Mediterranean and then over in the UK. And I just thought that everyone could use an escape right now, and I figured what better, like where better to go than over to London. So that's kind of how Falling in London came about. It took me 4 months to write, which still boggles my mind because it took me 4 years to write Slow Dancing on Main Street, which is about half the length. But it took me 4 months to write. I had an amazing beta team that really helped me to just bring the story to life, and I have an awesome editor as well. I just got it back from her a few weeks ago, and so it is fully done, ready to go. I just have to finish the formatting, but We are definitely still on time for October. But like I said, it's a very fun, lighthearted read. There's like a little bit of sass and humor, and so two of the excerpts that I pulled for today are just really going to show you that type of relationship between Tate, who's my main character, and her love interest, which his name is Brooks. So this first one I'm going to read, I'm going to set the scene for you. Basically, Tate lands the job of a lifetime, and Brooks invites her to go out with some clients to dinner, and it's a very successful dinner. Everybody leaves. They're standing in the hotel lobby about to go home for the night. And so this is where we pick up. "Can I give you a ride home?" Brooks asked. "The driver is only a few minutes away. He won't mind the extra stop." "Oh no," Tate waved her hand at him. "I'm fine taking the bus." "It's rather chilly out there tonight," he pleaded. "It would also not be very gentlemanly of me to let a lady walk home alone in the dark." "I can handle it." Tate tried to stand strong. "Oh, I have no doubt," Brooks said, "but I would feel much better knowing you arrived safely to the door after being in my company." Tate fought herself hard in the lobby. She knew she should say no. It wasn't exactly unprofessional for Brooks to offer her a ride. It was more the fact that the closer he stepped to her, the more rapid her heart would beat. She didn't trust herself being so close to him, but her argument seemed moot when one dimple spread across his face. "Okay then," she said, "let's go home." "Hey now," Brooks chimed in. "I don't let anyone take me home on the first night." "Oh my gosh," Tate gave him a swift slap to the chest. The firmness hurt her hand more than it did him, but she acted as if her hand didn't sting. "The bus is looking pretty good right about now." "I'm kidding," Brooks said. "Come on, let's go." So that is excerpt number 1. So just a little playful banter. It's pretty much like that through a lot of their scenes in the book. Well, let's see. Oh, you're sweet, Samantha. I loved having you be a part of it. All right, and the other one I have, so I don't want to keep you too long. I'm sure everyone is probably like ready to go to dinner. But this one here, let's see. Oh yes, so in the book, Tate and Brooks are going to take a little train ride to another country to pick up something that is much needed for her event. And this is after they get to the train station and they are waiting to board the train. Once they were through to the departure lounge, Brooks pulled out a book and flipped it open to where the bookmark was hanging. "Where the Crawdads Sing" were the words written in white across the cover. Tate had heard great things about that book, but with little time for reading these days, she hadn't had a chance to pick up a copy of her own. "How are you liking that so far?" she asked. "A mix of mystery and courtroom drama," Brooks said. "It's got me hooked. Even the romance pulls me in, and that's not typically my genre." "Surprising," Tate said. His eyes looked up from the words on the page. The muscles on Tate's face struggled to keep her from smiling as he cocked his head towards her. "What's that supposed to mean?" he asked. "Well, it's just you're such a smooth talker, you know, a real gentleman. I figured you got that from your fair share of romance novels." "Are you mocking me?" He closed the book again and set it on his lap. Tate's muscles had given in, and instead of the sneer she tried to hide, she was now laughing. She wasn't mocking him. He was a smooth talker. And when it came to being a gentleman, well, even before the train fell off the tracks, she had judged Jasper during their date because he hadn't done the things Brooke did. He didn't pull out the chair for her at dinner. He didn't ask what she preferred on the wine list, and he never asked a single question that would hint at his inkling to get to know her. She had felt bad initially for judging Jasper when she was pulling out her own chair. Not that it was necessarily wrong. This was the 21st century, and she was more than capable of seating herself. But when Brooks had pulled her chair out at the Lanesboro, it made her feel something she hadn't felt in a long time. Special. Tate knew before she sat down that night with Jasper that he was in trouble. Even if he wasn't an egotistical jerk, he still needed to fill the shoes of Brooks Walker. Those were some pretty big shoes. "Not mocking," Tate said, finally able to catch her breath. "I'm being serious. You seem like one of the good ones." She stopped mid-breath. She knew better than that, and winced as soon as the words came out of her mouth. A heavy sense of guilt fell over her, but the smile on Brooks's face immediately erased any regret. "Miss Montgomery," Brooks said, leaning his shoulder into hers, "are you hitting on me?" "Oh, for real," Tate pulled herself away and shoved her hand against his chest. The end. I'm just kidding. But the end of excerpt number 2. Let's see. So if you are on Goodreads, this is officially up there with the cover, so be sure to add it. And that way, that when it is released in October, you'll actually get an email reminder. I also have been releasing some excerpts and get to know you posts about some of the other characters in my newsletter. So if you're not subscribed to my newsletter, be sure to do that as well. And after I go off live, I will make sure to put all the links in a different post. Super excited about this book. It's very different than, I guess, anything I've ever written. So it's always like nice to have a good challenge. Also, I hope everyone is surviving. I know we're like 6 months into this strange new like world that we are living in. Hopefully this book will bring you some laughter. Hopefully in general you guys find something every day to laugh about and find a little bit of good in. It has been nice to spend a lot more time with my fiance. Prior to moving to Charlotte, we worked completely opposite schedules, so I feel like I never really saw him, so it's kind of been nice. And we're still together, so that should say something for us. Yeah, so okay, so no questions. So I'm gonna sign off for tonight. Again, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Have a great night, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.